The Manny Malhotra situation continues to get spicier. Courtesy of Elliotte Friedman and the latest 32 Thoughts podcast from Friday. This has a number of updates and thoughts in regards to the Vancouver Canucks and their Manny Malhotra hiring. Hiring with an asterisk, because at the time of me speaking into this microphone, it's not confirmed. Doesn't seem like it's going to be confirmed in the next little while. But if it is confirmed, and actually there is word that Manny Malhotra was promoted to the head coach position of the Vancouver Canucks by the time this video is public on YouTube, then okay, great. We'll make another commentary about the press release and whatnot. But Elliotte Friedman did have some stuff to say about Manny, and it was all documented by Tyson Cole on this article posted on Canucks Army earlier yesterday. So, links are going to be in the description to both the podcast episode as well as the article itself. Let's dive into what Friedman said about how things are moving in the proper direction for Manny Malhotra as the next head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. Let's dive into it here. The article talks about how it's been 2 weeks since new GM Ryan Johnson relieved Adam Foote, along with the rest of his coaching staff, of their duties as coaches of the Vancouver Canucks. Abbotsford Canucks head coach Manny Malhotra, whom Johnson worked alongside over the past 2 years, has been considered the frontrunner for the position since it became vacant. And according to Elliotte Friedman on 32 Thoughts, things remain on track for the two sides. He said, "I'm not concerned about that situation as much as other people are. Nature abhors a vacuum, particularly in Vancouver." Man, Elliotte Friedman is so articulate with it, isn't he? Speaking about proverbs and nature and everything, I'm still not panicked about anything going on with Malhotra. One of the things I think is going on in Vancouver is they have a lot happening. They have some positions to fill, some business to do. And I think that has affected some of these decisions. Not in terms of it happening, but the timelines of it. So, I am not concerned about the Malhotra situation as it stands right now. I still think that things are moving in the proper direction. This article then goes over the history, how Malhotra was hired from Toronto back in 2024, and how a number of guys from Malhotra-coached Abbotsford teams went on to become regular NHLers: Sasson, Carlson, Ratu. It was a difficult season for Malhotra and Abbotsford in 25-26. As mentioned, the team lost much of its championship-winning talent, resulting in a dip to 9th place in the Pacific Division, and a 9-point miss of the playoffs. Regardless, the team's vibes never changed under Malhotra's leadership. And according to reports, there hasn't been much of a search for the Canucks head coach. It appears that it's only a matter of time before Malhotra is named the 23rd head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. And that checks out with everything that has been discussed by other insiders and other media around the Vancouver beat. It seems like Manny Malhotra is the guy. And even though Ryan Johnson went out there and spoke in the media about how, oh yeah, of course we have an internal candidate, but we still have to do our due diligence, doesn't seem like the Canucks are super interested in bringing in any of these other options that have bestowed other NHL teams over the past few weeks. Bruce Cassidy? Probably not. I'm thinking about Craig Berube? I don't think that's an option either. It seems like Manny Malhotra is the guy, and one of the things that I hope actually transpires if and when Malhotra gets this job for the Vancouver Canucks is that I just straight up hope he's able to get a decent term on his contract. He's coming into a Vancouver Canucks organization that was absolutely terrible. We understand this. They sucked in 2025, 2026, and when you look at just the difference of how things went from 23-24, for example, where you had 100-point guys and 90-point defensemen and multiple 30-goal guys plus a 40-goal guy. When you go from this to this in the matter of 3 years, there's so much to be desired. And the team is going to suck. Evander Kane's going to leave. Jake DeBrusk might get traded. Pettersson might get traded. Brock Besser, who knows if he's going to continue being as effective as he is. Garland's already gone. Sherwood's already gone. Who knows what's happening with Teddy Bluger? this team is going to be different, and this team is probably going to be bad. For Manny Malhotra, I don't want to make it seem like there was a deterrent here in that way, but there was always an idea that was reasonable enough to bring itself up that said, hey, if you're Manny Malhotra, you're the head coach of the Abbotsford Canucks, you're doing your thing, you're working with the Canucks organization, do you want to come into the NHL and start your head coaching career with a dog water team? Like, at best, you're finishing with a 400 points percentage in your first NHL year. That's not great. Obviously, everybody wants to win, everybody wants to gain experience, but sometimes those two things don't align. So for Manny Malhotra, not that I'm saying that he wouldn't have expected this, like, oh, if Malhotra takes the Canucks job and then they suck next year, oh, he's going to be surprised. No, he fully will be expecting the Canucks to be bad, most likely. But how tolerant is he going to be of that as a head coach at the National Hockey League level, and what is the lifespan on that? Because if Manny Malhotra, who was a really good coach for Abbotsford last year, and by all accounts was a really good coach this year too, if he is taking over the Vancouver Canucks job, how long is it going to take for the Canucks to be good under Malhotra? I'm not asking how long is it going to take before Malhotra coaches the team to good numbers. I'm asking how long is it until the Canucks actually provide a roster that is capable of winning and doing some good things. Manny Malhotra, if he wants to be a long-term head coaching option for this team, sort of in a Jared Bednar, John Cooper type of way, he's going to need to be able to stick around for a long time. And at the very least, I can understand that Vancouver Canucks ownership probably would be okay with that, mostly because they're already paying Foote, they're already paying Tocchet, I'm pretty sure. They're paying all these guys they've moved on from in the past. You take a look at the Travis Greens, you go over to the Boudreaux, you go over to the Tocchets, you go to the Foote, you go to the Malhotra. That's so many coaches in the span of about 5 years. Can ownership even afford mentally to let Malhotra be in a vulnerable spot where he's only here for 2 years, maybe the team's still bad, and then he gets canned? Probably not, right? So if Malhotra comes into Vancouver, which it seems like he will, I hope he gets a long-term deal, like 5 years. Give him a long time to settle in with this organization and build it from the ground up as the roster that he's coaching also gets rebuilt from the ground up. And based off of what Friedman's talking about here on 32 Thoughts, it does seem like there is just so many other roles the Canucks are focusing on as well, which means that the head coaching role, which isn't really all too much of a competition at this point, seems like it could be one of the last things that's actually announced, unless, of course, it's announced, like, today. If that's the case, then I guess we'll have to make another video. But even the folks in the Canucks subreddit are going out there and saying similar things as well. Let's go. It's going to be really cool watching all of the Canucks centers increase their face-off win percentage at least 10%. Ratu may never lose a draw again. That's pretty cool, eh? I'm not surprised this has taken a while. The Canucks have a lot of positions to fill. If and when he is the head coach, the Canucks will need another AGM, probably a GM of Abbotsford and head of player development guys to replace the Sedins, and NHL assistant coaches, AHL head coach, AHL assistant coaches, and whomever the Canucks need for the promised revamp for the analytics department. Also, I'm pretty sure they want to give the impression that they aren't just giving the job to Malhotra right away, even if that's virtually what's happened. They want to show due process like they did with the GM hiring. So, with all that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Where does the Manny Malhotra conversation lead itself in your mind? What are your thoughts on the situation with Vancouver, and do you think Manny is the right guy for the job? Do you think this changes the way we talk about the third overall pick and his son Caleb Malhotra? Let me know in the comments why or why not. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.